Hi there, it's Michelle from CNC Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in New Zealand. And I just wanted to ask, did you know there are lots of uses for the stamping reinkers? Now, the most common one people think of is simply to reink your stamp pad when it gets dry. You simply drop a few dots in there, spread it around, probably using the back of a spoon, and that freshens up your ink pad. But you can also use them to re-ink the Stampin' Right pens. That's our water-based pens. You simply pull the nib off the end, drop a few drops into the barrel, and there you go. Inked up, ready to go again. But besides that, there's other things you can do with the re-inkers. If you put a few drops of re-inker into a little dish, or if you do have a stamp pad with the same color, we drop a few dots of the ink into the base there, which I'll show you. This is a Cajun craze. So you put a few dots in there, and then, or in a bowl or a plate. And then from there, you can use it for various ways. One, you can use your Aqua Painter, pick up some of the ink there, and then use it to give a watercolor effect onto your cards. The more water you use, the lighter the effect. You could also use our blender pens. Again, pick up some ink from the re-inker, and then you can use that to color in and shade in different images that you've stamped. So it doesn't give it as dark of an effect as just using proper pens. So that's the blender pen. You can do that. You can also use a sponge. This is half a sponge. I usually cut it into about 6 pieces and use a bit of that. Sponge up some of the ink, and then you can ink it up, sponge it onto your card. So in this case, I used one of the dies as a background to make it into a mask to sponge it up there. So sponges can be used. You could use a sponge dauber. So pop it on your finger, pick up some of the ink, and then you can simply daub it around. You could use a mask, or in this case, I did it with the black and just put dots around to give a better effect to my little ladybug card. You could take some of the drops of different colors, put a few drops onto the watercolor paper, and then spritz it. Use a spritzer to spritz it with some water to give it that splashed effect. And then you can use that to decorate a card, or it could be a lovely background. If you're using our paste, when you're mixing up the paste, put a couple drops of your re-inker in the paste, and then you can have a lovely color. So that's our stamping paste there with some color on it. You could also do the shaving cream technique. So with the shaving cream technique, you put shaving cream into a dish and then put dots of ink in various places, swirl it around a bit, and then pop your card on top. And then you get these interesting effects, these lovely swirls, which you can then use to cut out or use on a background on a card. Another thing you can do is you can put any of our white ribbon into the ink, so either in there or on a dish, put it in the ink, let it dry a bit, or you could even just set it down and put dots on it. And once it's dry, then you can have it match the color of your card. So in this case, that's real red. I did the ribbon with real red to match the card. So you can color your ribbon. Another technique, again with just some ink in a little bowl, is use anything you want. You can use, I think there's a saran wrap technique. This is the bubble wrap, not popped. Just pop it in there and then use that to dot on your card, and you get an interesting background. See, it's got like little splotches around there. So you can use that to give you an interesting background. You can also use baby wipes the same. Put the baby wipe down, put some dots of ink in various places on the baby wipe, and then you can use that as your ink pad, so you can stamp right onto the baby wipe to pick up the ink and then stamp onto your card. I've done that with die cuts, put the die cuts on there, and gives you a very interesting color design with the die cuts. Also, if you don't have a lot of large ink pads or can't afford to purchase a lot of large ink pads, my suggestion is you buy the uninked stamping spots. There's 5 in a packet, and they come uninked as shown. So if you get yourself 5 different colors, then you can simply put a few dots of the ink onto the pad, let it soak in, and then you can use that as your stamping pad. It's great for when you're inking up small stamps. It's also fabulous for traveling, and you can also use it to ink up on the Stamparatus, and you don't have to worry about using the big pad and getting ink all over the place. I do suggest that you put a label on the top and the bottom of what color it is, because when you have a lot of these, especially if they're the same color, when the top's off, you might not be quite sure which shade of blue that is. So if the color's on the bottom, you know which one it is. And that can make it so you can travel with your inks nice and handy. So I think that's everything I can think of at the moment for using the ink refills. It's a much more economical way of getting lots of colors than buying a lot of large pads, and it's very, very versatile. So I hope you enjoyed that Did You Know information, and please give me a thumbs up if you did. You can have a look at my blog or my webpage for more ideas and tips. And if you live in New Zealand and would like to buy any Stampin' Up! Products, please contact me if you do not already have a demonstrator. If you have a demonstrator, please contact them first. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.